Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg from the newsroom, and a special treat for you. I have Tim from the National Weather Service, Milwaukee Sullivan. I was just telling Tim that I'm a big weather buff, as all of you know from watching the show, but very excited that actually get to talk to somebody from the National Weather Service. I met Tim earlier this year at the winter safety event that we covered, and Tim, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you guys are busy this week.
Yeah, no problem. I love doing this.
Awesome. So, Tim, why we got you on here is this week is Tornado and Severe Weather Awareness Week, and we kind of wanted to learn a little bit more on why we have this awareness going into a severe weather season.
Yeah, so, typically around here, this is the beginning of our severe weather season in Wisconsin. We can get severe weather any time of year, but really, once you start getting into April, May, and June, we're going into the peak of our season for severe weather. And after a long winter's nap, we kind of need a refresher into the typical procedures that people do when severe weather happens. Go to the basement. How do you get weather information on short notice? Different things like that. So it's kind of a different mentality than going through winter weather and some of the preparedness that happens there. So now that we're going into that season, it's always kind of like a refresher for everybody to remember what we have to do after the long winter.
Absolutely. And this year, you guys have taken an approach of taking on a different topic each day, which we've been sharing on our show this week. Talk about the reasoning behind that, taking on these different topics.
Yeah, well, there's just always something different to kind of talk about. This year, one of the first things we talked about was mobile home safety. This year, there's been 27 fatalities from tornadoes, and out of those 27, 17 of them have been in mobile homes. So we've really been stressing that if people are in mobile homes and those are really not safe places to be during any kind of tornado. So people should have a place that they can go to and know how long it takes to get there for those mobile homes. Some other things are just kind of awareness things, like how we do our warnings, the different levels of warnings that we have. When there's a particularly bad tornado that might be going into a populated area, we use different wording when those types of tornado situations happen, and just trying to make people aware of those kind of things.
One thing that I feel like there's been more of nationwide are tornadoes hitting maybe in the middle of the night, or severe weather in general. We're seeing it hit, in the middle of the night or early morning hours. Talk a little bit about the nighttime safety factor, which is one of the topics you did cover this week.
Yeah, so that's one of the more particularly dangerous situations because people aren't paying attention as much. Most people are sleeping in the middle of the night, and if they don't have a device or something to wake them up when a warning gets issued, they might not know that a tornado or severe weather is coming their way. So there's some people that rely on the outdoor warning sirens to wake them up, which is a mistake unless you basically live right underneath a siren. Middle of summer, typically your windows are all closed up and air conditioning's running, fans running, whatever. Typically, you're not going to be able to hear the siren, or it's not going to be loud enough to wake you up. So you don't want to rely on a siren like that to be what's going to wake you up at 3 in the morning when a tornado comes through. So most of the tornadoes that happen in Wisconsin tend to be between 3 o'clock and 9 p.m. in the evening, but we do get tornadoes that happen at night. Of recent note was the Verona tornado. That was one that happened I believe right after midnight a few years ago.
And something to note too, that sometimes during the night, because we can't, it's a two-factor piece, which is why you guys do storm spotting classes, but sometimes you might have something, rotation on Doppler radar, but not anybody to see it, and we find out the next day that maybe there was a little small tornado go through. So any warnings that you guys are putting out, you never know what could happen out there.
Yeah, exactly. And there are some times where it hasn't worked as well, like the Barneveld tornado. That was a tornado that happened in the middle of the night. From what I've been told from local people there was the only thing that woke a lot of people up was a lightning strike that happened right before the tornado came through. We're hopeful that the technology that we have now that's a little bit more upgraded from that time, and that we'd have a better chance of seeing something of that caliber and would properly warn people of that type of tornado. But There have been situations where there haven't been warnings on tornadoes, and they're particularly dangerous in the middle of the night when that happens.
Absolutely. Last question for you, and it has to do with the tornado drill that will be happening. Talk about why we do this every year and why you guys added the night component, which is an awesome feature.
Yeah, so it's a way for people. It kind of forces people into, first a lot of people hear the sirens going off and they're like, "What's that? What's going on?" We have there'll be a test tornado watch at 1 o'clock tomorrow. 1:45 will be the test tornado warning, and then 2 o'clock will end that, and then we'll have another test tornado warning at 6:45. This is really just for people to kind of exercise their plans that they have during the day. It tends to be a good thing for schools and businesses, for people to plan what they would do if a tornado warning was issued. Last year, we added the evening drill because it's more of a realistic time of the day for a tornado to actually occur. So this year it's at 6:45. That will end at 7 o'clock. So more realistic that you would see something like that. So that's a good time for a lot of people if they're at home with their family. What do you do? Talk about where your shelter is and where you need to go.
Perfect. Tim, we ran out of time. I could ask you question after question, so we'll save it for another time. Hopefully we can have you back on the show. But if anybody wants to find out information on tornado safety or information from you guys, where should they go?
You can go to weather.gov/Milwaukee. We have a story right now about the severe weather awareness stuff in the top of our page, so you can see some of the graphics we're posting there.
Absolutely. I'm looking at them right now. They're really well done, Tim. I appreciate it. All right, Till Halbach from National Weather Service, Milwaukee Sullivan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, we'll take a really quick break. We'll be right back. It is Talking Fitchburg.